Hello, I'm Adam and welcome to another episode of Literature Ministry in the 21st Century. And this episode is titled Every Believer, and it is derived from this powerful comment made by Ellen White. She says, "Let every believer scatter broadcast tracts and leaflets and books containing the message for this time. We need colporteurs who will go forth and circulate our publications everywhere." Colporteur Ministry, page 21. Let every believer, she says. Wow! Just consider what that means for a moment. If you are a member of the Seventh Day Adventist Church, that means you can do something to share our literature. And if everybody did something, imagine what an impact we would have on this world. Now, here's the really exciting thing about literature ministry in New Zealand and Australia. We have a method of sharing literature that would suit almost every believer. Yes, we call them literature ministry streams. Let's take a look at them. The regular stream is the traditional style of literature ministry where the literature evangelist goes into the home of the people and sells packages of books designed to help people in their physical and mental well-being. And then that leads on to books to assist them in their spiritual walk with God as well. Now, the majority of the methods literature ministry uses puts into practice the counsel from Ellen White, which says, "Our health literature is the helping hand of the gospel, opening the way for the truth to enter and save many souls." Colporteur Ministry, page 132. Regular LE work or literature evangelism is best suited to those wanting to build relationships with people and then witness through those relationships. It is also the most popular method used by those wanting to make a career out of literature ministry. Our next stream is the Jumpstart stream. It's a quick approach that takes place on the doorstep. The literature evangelist presents smaller books and offers them for cash, FPOS, or donations that range from $1 to $2 up to the value of $100. This method is best suited for students, young people, and part-timers who are wanting to earn some extra money on the side while doing missionary work at the same time. In our book workshop stream, literature evangelists facilitate a book workshop in a person's home, or it could even be at a public venue where people invite their friends to come along for a very informative presentation on natural health remedies with a spiritual focus. After the presentation, guests have an opportunity to purchase books. Workshops can consist of also plant-based cooking classes, or relationship and parenting seminars, which also will point to the books that we sell. The pop-up bookstore stream allows you to set up a bookstore in a variety of venues, such as shopping malls, trade shows, school fairs, and whatever other opportunities you may find to set up a bookstore. You sell books in an over-the-counter style setting. For young people, university and senior school students, some of our conferences around Australia and New Zealand host a youth rush once a year, usually over the summer holiday break. It is based around the student model in the USA, and the books are sold on a donation basis. A youth rush can last from 1 to several weeks in duration, and training is provided as part of the program. You can also be a literature champion, and we are continually looking for passionate church members to be literature champions and be responsible for setting up a literature table in their local church each Sabbath, which encourages other members to take some literature every week and share it with their friends, family members, or work colleagues. Our final stream is church member involvement. And in some of our conferences, and especially our two conferences in North and South New Zealand, we have local churches pairing up their members every Sabbath and going door to door, sharing literature in their communities as part of our church member involvement program. And it is most it's usually done on a Sabbath afternoon, and a sharing time follows with lots of laughs and stories of God's leading throughout that afternoon. And look, in my opinion, this is the most effective way a church can make itself known in the community, and one of the most powerful means of spreading the gospel to the whole world. Imagine if every Adventist church in the world made plans to reach every home in their community. The gospel will be taken to the world in no time, and Jesus will be back before we even know it. So as you can see, we have a method designed to suit just about anyone. And we need you. Jesus needs you. He could have given the duties of spreading the gospel to angels, but he didn't. He chose you, and he chose me instead. Sharing literature is the easiest form of witnessing you will ever do. Here, have a read of this. I think you'll really enjoy it. It is that simple. And, in Testimonies Volume 9, Ellen White has this to say about literature ministry. She says the bookwork should be the means of quickly giving the sacred light of present truth. My dear church brethren, we need to do this work quickly. Jesus needs to come. And we can do this if we are all determined to get involved with literature ministry in one of the methods mentioned. We could quickly finish the work, and Jesus will come. Let me share a story. It was a Sabbath afternoon, and one of our churches was giving out great controversies as part of the church member involvement program. I had a church friend accompany me, and as we walked up to a house, we noticed a car parked in the front yard, and there was a lady sleeping in this car. She actually had a Mills and Boon romance novel lying on the dashboard of her car, and I made a joke to my friend showing him the great controversy. I said she should be reading this book instead. The front door of the house was opened. It was wide open. We knocked on the door, and we could hear somebody inside preparing dinner, but they actually never came to the door. We knocked louder, calling out, "Hello, hello," but they just never came to the door. I was a bit confused, and I turned to my friend and said, "God is sending us to this lady," just gesturing toward the car in the front yard. She had woken up by this stage, and as we approached her, she informed us that the lady inside the house is deaf and wouldn't be able to hear us knocking. Well, that explains that then. And I knew God had this woman right here, prepared, waiting for us. After introducing ourselves, she informed us that she was raised a Seventh Day Adventist, and she hadn't been to church for many years. I told her that God had sent us to her, and she needed to read this book as I handed her a great controversy. She said she heard about this book, but she'd never read it. She also said she was thinking of going back to her family church and was asking God for a sign. Well, we were the sign, and she promised she would read the book and return to her church. God had her there waiting for us. Imagine who God could put in our way if we all determined to share literature in one way or another. It would be amazing, and I reckon our church growth would explode as well. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch our videos. Please subscribe to our channel, give the video a like, and share it with your church friends. And I will see you in the next episode of Literature Ministry in the 21st Century.